Can you tell us how you got your name originally?
Sure. I got my name about 9 years ago. I had started to do tantric workshops, and at that time I was working mostly with Sarita. And I believe it might have been the last time she offered this in the UK. It was a ceremony, a satsang to offer sannyasin names. And I had an interview with her where she tuned in into the qualities she was picking up from my energy. And then she sent those qualities to the Osho Institute in Pune, and they came back to her with the Sanskrit name. So the name I received at that ceremony was Ma, which is Mother of the Universe, given to most women, Mukti, which is spiritual liberation, and the one that really took me aback was Kalyani, which is beautiful, auspicious, blessed bliss. And it felt very important for me to embrace that name in my journey forward.
Beautiful, thank you. What would you say Tantra is to you?
So for me, having immersed myself in the teachings of Tantra, it's a philosophy, an ancient one that originates from India, but that really brings together the elements of the body, the emotions and the spirit, and works with all that to encourage us to be more fully embodied, as well as rising our vibration towards a more spiritual way of being. But it's saying yes to what life presents us with. It's saying yes to our body without judgment of moving away from the shadows and just staying in the light. And it's obviously embracing our sexuality as the gift that it is for us.
Nice, thank you. How and when did you get into tantric practices?
I started... I came into Tantra through tantric massage. I started questioning why part of the body, the genital area, was not considered through respectful, loving, healing touch, and discovered that that was called a tantric massage. So I explored this and then delved deeper into tantric workshops and tantric books. I know a very important book for me was the big Bible from Margot Anand, which was The Art of Sexual Ecstasy, and then went on to a lot of other books, but obviously the Book of Secrets from Osho. So a good 10 years now, and then over my journey I connected with different teachers, and then really chose the person that was to become my main teacher, which was Shakti Malan.
Great, thank you. So, this is a more in-depth question about what do you see as the masculine and feminine principles? How would you perhaps explain it?
So for me, although we are born in a gender, we have both masculine and feminine principles within us. And the teachings from Shakti was that those feminine and masculine principles have got different levels of consciousness within us. So we are born at the unconscious level. The unconscious masculine is very much about survival, finding your place, shoving around, really finding what it is you need for your own survival. So it's quite self-centered, selfish, and it can be unruly, it can be quite rebellious. You can imagine as well the quality, the vibrancy of the teenage boy in that. The unconscious qualities of the feminine are disembodiment. So a feeling of wanting to be in this body but not really knowing how, often getting easily overwhelmed and going into avoidance. That's the name hysteria came from for a lot of women's behaviors. And also another aspect can be the manipulation. Again, it taps a little bit into the survival, but how to get your things, With the unconscious masculine, that's about grabbing, taking. With the feminine, it's about learning to manipulate. And I know as women we are very good at that. But that's all in the realm of the unconscious.
So you say with women, however, that are you saying that that's feminine energy rather than women?
Yeah. And that can be in both masculine, in both a man and a woman. But often, when you are in your own gender, you will have a tendency to embrace more the qualities of that particular gender. So my sense is women are more skilled at being manipulative than men.
Okay.
On that point. Then, at some point, having been born in the unconscious level, you go into the conscious level. And that's where a lot of the people who are going to listen to this interview are. That's where, we are all currently, because we are seeking more. We are wanting to find answers and asking questions. Some people never get to that, and that's okay. But that's where we are. At the conscious level, the masculine principle becomes, instead of being self-centered, it's starting to look outwards and wanting to make a difference. So it has that quality of skillful action, being very determined, and this is what needs doing and I'm going to go for it. There's also maximizing of using our energy, our effort into delivering something. It's also about being really solid. So we often talk about that quality of being rock, the rock. That's the conscious masculine aspect. And then another aspect is, as well as the skillful action, is the really holding the space and making things possible to happen.
Can you just expand a bit on holding the space and explain a bit perhaps more what that means to you?
Yeah, sure. So for holding the space, for me it's very much, you can hold the space from both aspects, but talking about the masculine side, it's about making things safe. So there is a sense of things are being taken care of and looked after. And what then wants to unfold in the space is given a degree of freedom, what we call the spaciousness.
Okay.
And that's important so that when the outer is being taken care of, the magic can happen, life can unfold.
And in relation to the feminine, if the masculine is holding the space, what is it that the feminine energy has the ability to do?
So when there is a space holding of the masculine, especially in the conscious masculine, the feminine can go into her conscious qualities, which are, instead of being disembodied, she becomes embodied. That means that she's able to feel everything. And that means not just the good and the pleasant, but she will also feel and be open to the less pleasant feelings. Just taking everything, knowing that everything is here to be felt and everything will pass. It's a continual flow. She's also really open, so she doesn't shut herself off from everything. And then another principle is starting to connect with the heart and bringing the wisdom of everything she feels, everything she just understands and comes to her to go through her heart and becomes wise, becomes her wisdom that she then shares out. And it's that wisdom, when it is received in a field that's held, that can create all those miracles. So the conscious feminine is the one that received the intention, turns it into a deliverable and says to the masculine, beloved, this is what we need.
Fantastic answers. So, very interesting thereabouts. So there's a conscious masculine and unconscious masculine, there's conscious feminine and unconscious feminine.
And then there's a third level.
Oh, go on then.
There's the essence level, which we, on our work, on our journey, we dip into. But unless we're enlightened, it's very unlikely we stay at that level, but we get glimpses of it. So the essence of the masculine is full, total stillness, as well as that deep presence, but at a much bigger level than simply holding space. It's the presence of Shiva that's just there. Then the essence of the feminine is just an expansion of the conscious level, but it's being unconditional love. Just being that, as well as being open to all of life, being the body of life. And also inviting all the subtlety of all the bodies. So the essence of the feminine is to feel a leaf drop from the tree and land, and to feel through that what is the impact in the whole energy field of everything. So we can thrive to that.
So there's a couple of really interesting questions that come to mind there. One would be, is there such thing as somebody leading, or the masculine or the feminine leading in Tantra from your point of view?
From my point of view, what I am seeking through the Tantra I teach, the Tantra I live by, I am seeking union. I am seeking wholeness.
Oh, okay. And in terms of would the masculine energy lead, or would the feminine energy lead in a?
They would take it in turn in a dance.
Take it in turn, right?
Because, for instance, if I think about workshops I hold and offer, or even my one-to-one work with clients, I would very much hold the space with a deep presence to make people feel safe in arriving, in starting to release and let go already by simply sitting in presence with me. So that's very masculine. Then the feminine opens, and if I'm doing that in myself now, in that feminine, there's a softening, and there's an invitation into an allowing. I don't know if you can feel that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's that invitation, and it's not that one leads the other. It's like they both have their qualities, and it becomes that dance. And in the teaching, in the sharing with people, at times what I will feel is that the masculine will be called for, and at other times the feminine. And for me, it is about that total divine union. And if one tries to lead, it doesn't work. It really falsifies things.
Great. So last question on the masculine, feminine.
Yeah, I love that theme. You can tell.
Yeah. How do you see us as individuals finding balance? So the question might be, is our aim to get to 50-50, or would you see it different in different genders or different people?
If I think of my journey, I started so much in the masculine, you would not recognize me.
Right.
So part of the unfolding for everybody is about giving themselves the space to go into the other side. And maybe at that point in their life they will be 80% in one,
Right.
and 20% in the other. And then when they've really met that other part that they denied themselves, and they become comfortable with that and being in those qualities, then they can bring that back. So for me, one of the main attraction in me choosing Shakti as my teacher was that she embodied that deep balance and could shift from one quality of the masculine to the feminine in even through the same sentence.
So again, it's the balance sense of kind of moving and dancing, rather than necessarily hitting 50-50 or any other.
Yeah. Is that allowing and recognizing when things start to become out of balance and saying, okay, bringing ourselves back. And for me, when that balance is met, it's then becomes a total invitation for life to flow through me, through us, how it wants, and we don't know what that's going to look like.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it becomes the magic.
Thank you. Okay, another topic. What was sex education like for you when you were younger?
So I'm French, and having lived in England now for 25 years, I can say that generally there is more openness in France about sex education. However, it was still very practical. It was very much about do this, do that, don't do this especially, don't do that, and be aware of all the sexual disease, that kind of thing. So more how to use a manual than anything else. Yeah.
Would you add Tantra to like a school curriculum?
Definitely. I have two coming on to late teenage daughters, and I have spoken with them about Tantra, and I can see how it is preparing them so much more to life. You know, we are social beings. We are beings that are going to most likely go into relating and into relationship with others. And for me, Tantra is about bringing some confidence to young people about what it's like to engage in sexual encounter, in sexual sharing with another, from a place of having met themselves first. So things like self-pleasuring, which I prefer much better as a word than masturbation. Masturbation sounds quite mechanical. Self-pleasuring, you know, talking to young people to say, learn to meet your body, what feels good, what doesn't feel good. That's very empowering. It's like, I am the one who says yes and opens to my orgasm. I don't depend on you for my orgasm. And then it can become a sharing. And what I was talking with my daughter this morning when I was telling I was coming here to chat with you was what I would really like to see through the tantric teachings in sex education is linking sex between heart and sex. Because that's when the sex, the yes, opens. It's when the heart is open. And that's sort of not said at all. It's like, oh yeah, sex is this thing you do. But it's not. Real, deep sexual encountering is so much richer when the heart is open as well. And especially nowadays with the growing up culture of pornography, which is so easily accessible, that part is totally blinded.
The heart part.
Yeah. So I think it would make a lot healthier young adults if they had tantric teachings.
So you could have sex education and heart education, and then the two
emotional intelligence, I call it.
Yes. And then the two classes could come together. Fantastic. So say you were speaking to your teenage self with the wisdom you've got now, what do you think you might tell yourself about sex and sexuality?
I would tell myself to trust my body always. Very definitely trust my yes, trust my no, and not rushing into anything, taking my time. When we're young and full of hormones, that, you know, desire and the fire can be really strong, and to still feel that, open to that, but then taking my time to breathe, to really slow down and open from that place of feeling more.
Very nice answer. So coming to your sessions, what kind of things do you offer?
Okay, I work in two ways with people. I have been offering for quite a while some tantric massage with people, which I call healing tantric massage, where I help people reconnect through touch to their body, to their yes, to their sexuality, and also to meeting through that, yes, any deep-seated trauma that is still resting in the body, which is very normal. So that practice I still run, and I make it available for people who are seeking the healing. But in parallel now, and that's where most of my practice is, I offer session for women and men where we go together and explore their shadows, basically. It's the totality therapy that Shakti Malan developed, and it's very sad that she died last summer, because for me she didn't complete the expansion of this, which is a beautiful portfolio of work that she developed, just bringing a lot of different aspects from a lot of different teachings and practices and healing modalities. But bringing that as a package for people to come and be willing to explore is a very powerful way and methods I have found. And seeing through my tantric massage practice how the body would come into seeking resolution, and there can be the physical resolution, but what the totality therapy does, it goes underneath and look at beliefs, looks at childhood trauma, looks at repeating patterns, especially in relationship. It looks at where have we abandoned ourselves, where is that Jungian triangle, the predator, rescuer and victim, and just brings all these aspects together, but very much linked to the body, which is where I really connected with this, because a lot of the practices out there are mind related, and they are very powerful, very helpful, but we have a body as well. We need to bring that connection back into the body, and that's what totality therapy does.
The somatic element.
Yeah.
So that's what you mean by the shadow work, is those areas for people who don't know what shadow means. Yeah, looking at the uncomfortable places within us, the places we might have been wanting to avoid for sometimes quite some times. Be willing to meet them, meet their teachings, and recognize them as a part of us as well, which again is about making us whole, not living it with just the good bits. So where did you first get involved with totality teaching or training?
The training was a 2-year-long training, and I started with it in 2012. Yeah.
So with Tantra, do you practice with your partner or partners?
Yes, I do.
And what would you say is the real benefit of it for you?
I would say the authenticity of the relating, because Tantra is about saying yes to everything that is arising and willing to go and meet it. And that means into the bliss, but also into the chaos. So Tantra is, for me, the only way, because if not, you end up living with a mask.
Excellent.
So authenticity, and obviously great sexual encounters, but sometimes those sexual encounters, are really difficult. They bring up very tender, raw places. But that's what life is about. It's about being full and real.
Thank you so much for this interview, Kalyani.
Thank you. Lots of love.